When the original She-Ra Princess of Power series came out in the 80s, the main purpose was the next giant event will be in January. I'm Danielle Anzures reporting for El Paisan News. I'm Danielle Anzures reporting for El Paisan News. Hi, I'm Danielle Anzures and welcome to the TV Line Report, your place for TV shows coming back and to you. On Monday over at CBS, The Big Bang Theory will be premiering its final season at 8 p.m. Young Sheldon follows after at 8:30 p.m. And Magnum P.I., the premiere of a 80s detective series, will be premiering at 9 p.m. Over at ABZ, The Good Doctor returns at 9 p.m. and Fox is looking to compete with CBS with The Resident, which will be returning at 8 p.m.
On Tuesday, CBS will be returning NCIS to 8 p.m. FBI premieres at 9 p.m. and NCIS New Orleans will return at 10 p.m. Over at Fox, The Gifted returns at 8 p.m. and Lethal Weapon returns at 9 p.m. Over at NBC, This Is Us will come back at 9 p.m. and New Amsterdam will be premiering at 10 p.m. Over at FX, a mini-series will be coming to the screen called Mr. Intruder. It will be about a man whose day job is being a criminal for hire. That will be premiering at 11 p.m.
I'm Danielle Anzures, signing off for El Paisan News. Have a lovely day.
Whittier Area Community Church, also known as PAC, just had its second annual Shine event. Shine is a gathering for women to come and worship God and also listen to a guest speaker talk about her experience with God as a woman. The event had snacks for guests and also opened with Union Creative, the church's own band, before the show started. After singing was over, Christy Thomas, the children's pastor, came out to talk about her struggle with religion and coming to terms with her own identity with God.
My struggle has been that the picture of my life looks very different from what I thought it would, and I know that's not an uncommon thing, you know. For me, that picture that just made sense, that it was very much a no-brainer, was that following God faithfully and doing the things He called me to do, and I had this desire to be married and have children, and to invest in my kids and be able to be with them until they grew up.
The next Shine event will be in January. I'm Danielle Anzures reporting for El Paisan News.
The Rio Hondo women's soccer team has lost their first game of the season. The game against Chaffee ended in loss of 2-0, with Chaffee walking away with the fourth win. Kylie Covington made the first goal, and the second shot was made by Lindsay Hannon after halftime. The loss, while a disappointment, was not a shock given the similarities of both teams' stats. As for the loss, Rio Hondo's Haley Morales had this to say.
For this game?
I think once we got scored on, our demeanor went down, our intensity went down. I think it's important to keep the same intensity the entire time and want it. And that's what I think as a team we could have done better. Sorry, I went down.
Now, although the Rio Hondo women's soccer team lost today, talk of strategy is working for the next game. I'm Mason Tyler for El Paisano News.
Rio Hondo's Photo League Club has taken over the gallery once again for the fall semester. The event was held between the 5th and 6th of November and showcased students' arts to the general public. There is no general theme for the gallery. Instead, students in the club were just required to submit anything they wanted. The goal was to cover each wall with art from other people.
Some chose to talk about politics and current events in their photos, while others may have just chosen instead to do more fun activities instead. Because there is no theme, anything could go. Coordinators said that last year their theme was mainly Halloween. This year there is more spread out themes with some more politically driven issues given this year of 2018. A few photos showcase protests that happened over gun control given the past year with school shooting and the violence of it. The event's main goal is to inspire students to hopefully join the photo league during the spring semester. And hopefully with the gallery that they put together, they can get those people. There's still time to join the photo league if you'd like. You could go ahead and check them out at Rio Hondo's website, or you could head to the art building and go find them yourselves.
I'm Danielle Anzures reporting for Alpha Sound News. Hi, I'm Danielle Anzures, and today I will be teaching you how to make a very easy mac and cheese recipe.
First thing you'll want to do is put water to boil and then pour the macaroni into there. You'll be needing around 16 ounces of this, which is usually just a box that you could get at the store. For your next step, pour a cup of milk into a bowl. This is a half cup, so technically I needed 2 of them. Do not worry, I know what I'm doing. The next thing you'll need to do after that is crack an egg into the milk. Next comes the fun part that you could actually include people in if you'd like to. Mix the 2 items together until it turns into like a frothy mix. After that, pour the cheese into the mix. You should have around 2 cups of cheese, however you could add as much as you like. And the macaroni should be done with its boiling and you can pour it into a pan. After that, you will pour your mixture of cheese, egg, milk, and a little bit of butter into there and mix it well. After that, put the macaroni into the oven, which should be preheated to 350, and you're good to go. After 30 minutes in the oven, your macaroni and cheese should look like this, and it'll be ready to eat and delicious. This is a good recipe for anybody who doesn't know how to cook, like me.
I'm Danielle Anzures reporting for Alpha Sound News, and I wish you a very happy holiday. When the original She-Ra Princess of Power series came out in the 80s, the main purpose was to sell toys and market little girls who were interested in He-Man, only with a Barbie doll design instead. The show was overall very campy, silly, and it was very obvious that they were just kind of trying to appeal to them. There was really no tactic for a show itself. It was made to sell toys. And even then, they still had a decent audience. People remember the show fondly. So when Netflix announced that they were going to reboot the series, there was naturally a lot of tension among fans and worries about what would happen.
The sword has chosen you. The time has come for your destiny.
Glimmer?
I see her, Bo.
The show follows similar beats to the original. We are introduced early on to Adora, a Horde soldier for this bad guy side, who is believed to think that the princesses are the bad guys. Of course, when she's brought out of that world, she is immediately hit with the fact that that was a wrong statement. It's very obvious that the showrunners had put a lot of thought into the characters and into the storyline. They want everything to interweave in a way that will overall pan out throughout the story. And while I do think there is stuff that by the end of the series you want to know more about, it never ends. It doesn't end on this note where you have to know what's happening. It's more like you would like to know what's happening. And I give Netflix and the showrunners a lot of applause for this, because it would have been very easy to leave it on a cliffhanger and kind of push for that, but instead they did kind of tie the bow up on their story and end it on a positive note, but still give you something to look forward in the next season.
If Friendship and Magic is for you, the show might be just up your alley.
I'm Danielle Anzures reporting for Alpha Sound News. Have a nice day. The Wreck-It Ralph sequel, Ralph Breaks the Internet, came to theaters on November 21st, and it's good, but it has its own problems.
Sugar Rush is getting unplugged! Oh no, I'm freaking out hard.
In this movie, we follow Ralph and Vanellope Von Schweetz after they have lived 6 years in this arcade, doing the same thing over and over again. Ralph is pretty content with his life, whereas Vanellope isn't. But things take a turn for the worse when Vanellope's game is broken and they have to go to the internet to find a piece that will help fix it.
If I'm not a racer, what am I?
Oh, you're my best friend.
All we gotta do is find a part to fix your game. Everything goes back to the way it was.
But where are we gonna find that?
The internet!
What?
This movie has no central villain. There is nobody in particular that is the bad guy. That being said, there is a conflict here, and that conflict is fairly from the characters themselves. It's amazing how they were able to do this. It really feels personal and very much well thought out. That being said, this is probably the strongest part of its story, the plot. Unfortunately, the actual line gets lost within the internet stuff itself.
Wow.
Get rid of belly fat using this one weird trick.
Sassy housewives want to meet you. They do.
Want to get rich playing video games?
Ralph Breaks the Internet is a bit clunky in paces. It ultimately has pacing issues and it gets lost in the internet world that it has created. That being said, the plot is overall good. This is a good sequel for the Wreck-It Ralph movies, and I see Disney has put their heart and soul into this movie. If you are looking for something to watch over the holidays and you have children but you do not want to be bored, I would definitely suggest Ralph Breaks the Internet. I'm Danielle Anzures reporting for El Paisano News. Have a nice day. John Leguizamo's comedy special Land in History for Morons is described as a one-man Broadway show, and that's a good description. From the get-go, there's a very big difference between this and other comedy specials that you would find not only on Netflix, but just anywhere else. The way he talks about this story, because his central story is that he is talking to his son about the history of Latin history, and talking about the accomplishments we've made, the contributions to societies they've had, and also the actual downfall of them.
If you don't see yourself represented outside of yourself, you just feel fucking invisible.
The thing about this special that really got to me was the amount of stage production in it. Like, he moves around the stage, he really commands it. He uses it all to his advantage. The props are there to set it up. You really think like, oh, he's now in an office with his therapist. He's with the headmaster at his son's school. He's talking to his wife. He has a way to play with the stage that really makes you think you're in that situation. It brings that vision to life.
Because as the great 20th century Spanish philosopher Santana once said, oh, no, not Carlos, George, who said, those who cannot remember their past are doomed to repeat it, coño.
The way Leguizamo has made a story and a comedy show work together is really fantastic. He has this way of interacting with the audience. He has a way of creating these characters on stage by himself. He's very multifaceted with his techniques. He knows how to really get an audience wrapped up in the story. And it's overall great. If you're somebody who likes history or who is Latin or who likes comedies, this would definitely be for you. It knows how to mix all those things up together and make it work. If you like to catch this one-man show, it's available only on Netflix.